Hi everyone, it's Lauren. Welcome to the Granite State Yarns podcast. This is my podcast where I talk about all of my knitting and other crafty adventures. I also do a bit of sock yarn dyeing. That's what Granite State Yarns is. So if you are interested in sock yarn for knitting socks or crocheting socks, you can find me at www.granitestateyarns.com. And you can also find me on Instagram if you want to chat. My handle there is at Granite State Yarns. So today I have a whole bunch of socks that I have finished knitting. I have a bunch of sock works in progress. I have a sweater to talk about. And I shouldn't forget anything because I actually wrote notes this time. So go me. Usually I am like, oh, what was the name of that pattern? Or what was the name of that sock colorway? So, yeah, definitely a little more organized today. So that's really cool. I also have some presents that came in the mail and a little bit of stash enhancement. So I have a lot to talk about today. It's been a few weeks. I think it's been almost a month. Life has been busy, but here we are. It's episode 21. Here I am looking down at my notes where I actually have that written down. Yeah, I can't believe it. We're already at episode 21. We've been doing this for I think about a year now, so pretty cool. Yeah, so if you are new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. This should be fun. All right, so let's start off with my finished objects. I have almost all of them. There is one that I've already gifted, but I do have some pictures, so we'll show that. Maybe we'll start with that one. I finished my We're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat socks, and I will put them up here. These were a gift from my mother, who is a big fan of the movie Jaws. So when I saw this colorway, I said I had to buy it for her. So got these socks done. They are just easy, simple vanilla socks, and I cut in an afterthought heel. So that was really fun, easy. Really, that yarn is fantastic. It's super sparkly, like super duper. If you like sparkle yarn, then you've got to go check out Pretty Twisted Yarns, because her, I know she has a regular, a standard sparkle base, but this one is like extra sparkle. So, and really fun because it looks a lot like, I don't know, a shark attack in the ocean. So really colorful and pretty, and I love these socks. And my mother said she's already worn them, and so that's really nice to hear. So hope you love them, Mom. All right, so I also have finally a finished pair of Saul Goodman socks. I have one on the blocker and one just kind of hanging out. But this was a test knit that I did for McKaylee of Breaking Yarn. And I got my first sock done for the test knit really fast, and then the second one just kind of sat around for a little while, but I finally got it done. And this is in Lolo Did It. This is Hippos for Apple Picking, which is a colorway that's no longer available. It was a limited release, but I really enjoyed this yarn. It's beautiful. You see this really nice, all of her hippo yarn has this really nice tonal gray base, and then all these different color speckles on here. And I don't know if she is still doing the hippos, but if you ever get a chance to pick up a hippo, they're really fun. They're all that same gray base and then just various colored speckles depending on whatever the theme is. So really fun. But the Saul Goodman pattern is just a very easy, just a textured pattern on the tops of the sock as well as the back over here. And then this also has a half linen stitch heel flap, which is a little bit different from the more standard heel flap, but it's really nice. It takes a little bit more time to knit, but it's really thick, and it almost puts some padding on there. So if you ever, I guess if you have trouble with maybe getting blisters or anything on the back of your heel, you might really like this pattern, or to at least learn how to do that half linen stitch heel flap. It was really fun to do too, and it really gives a really fun kind of look there, especially with the speckles. Yeah, so I'm really happy to have these socks done. I did the size, I believe it's small. I think it's extra small, small, medium, large. I did whatever the one that has 60 stitches. So it's kind of like in between what I would call is like a standard, you know, adult small at 56 stitches. I always get this messed up. Is it 56 or 58? No, that's not in my notes. I can't remember it. Well, it's divided by 4, so yeah, 56. Right. Yes. Oh my goodness. I have the hardest time. My kids laugh at me because, especially Abby, because she knits socks. And I always, for whatever reason, I can never remember if it's 56 or 58 stitches. And I always say the wrong one, and she's always like semi-patient with me to remind me that it's actually what. Anyway. Yeah, so if your usual adult sock is a size small at 56 stitches, and then a medium is 64, this is right in the middle, and it's nice. I haven't worn these yet to really know if they fit me any better. I'm usually pretty happy with the 64, but I think these are going to be great for like my preteens. I have one daughter right now who's 12, and I think that this sock is going to fit her really well. Or also maybe my mother-in-law, who has a slightly smaller foot too. So I think that it's really nice to have that kind of like in between where it's not like super small, but you know, if someone doesn't quite fit into the more standard adult medium, this might be a really good option. So it's really nice of Michaeli to have those 4 different size options. And the pattern itself is really easy to scale up or down depending on what you're looking for. So yeah, very happy to have these done. So next sock, let's talk about my seashells on the seashore socks. This one's pretty fun. So I have the other sock here. It's not on the blocker, and you'll notice that it is super teeny tiny. Yeah. So where do I begin with these? Let's talk about the details first. This yarn is the Beach Day yarn that I got in my, I forget what month it is, but it was in my Daisy Stitch Co. That sock set box, and this was in the beach theme one. I want to say it was June. Pretty sure it was June. And love this yarn. You can see it was all right. So this is the Beach Day like main colorway, and then it came with 2 minis. There was this pretty blue, and then this pretty like green, like lime green, really bright. And so I just put those on the like little pop of color here on the heel. The cuff. Now I will say I love doing the little pop of color on the top of the cuff here. The Crazy Sock Lady, Kay, has been doing that for like almost all of her socks lately, and I really, really like that detail, and I do that fairly regularly too. So this time I tried doing it twice, and I love the look, but I will say that you end up with like so many ends right here at the top that was a little bit kind of annoying. It was worth it in the end, but I will say if you want to do the 2, because I did the cast on and then the first row in the blue, and then I did 2 rows in the green, and then switched over to the main color here. And that was just a lot of color changes all at once. So again, totally worth it, but just be aware if you want to do that it is going to be a little bit fussy, unless you have a better like method of weaving in ends. I know people like doing the weave in Steven for weaving in ends. I haven't particularly liked that for socks. I find that maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I find it's a little bit too loose. And I did, in the sock that I did try that in, the ends have kind of like started to show, which isn't a big deal. You can just like snip the little bits off, but I don't know. I haven't like fallen in love with the weave in Steven, but maybe I need to try it again. So anyway, so this pattern is Seashells on the Seashore by Amanda of Dog Mom Knits, and it is this very, very fun lace pattern that goes just along the front. In her pattern, she gives you the option if you want to do it on the center of the sock, or if you want to do, I think, have them like on the side. So how would I explain this? So like if you had 2 pairs of socks, this one would, the pattern itself would be just off center a little bit. So it would be like on the side of the sock, and then you could have it mirror on the other sock. I think there might have been another option. Oh, that's what it was. For the size large, there's enough room on the front to have this panel done twice. So there's technically 3 different options for how you want to put this lace pattern in the sock. So that was really neat. I chose to do it right down the center. I also, trying to make sure that I remembered talking about everything. Oh yeah, it's a 8-row repeat, and it's actually really easy to memorize. So it only took a couple of repeats before I had it all like in my head, and it was very easy to do. So, I mean, what an impact for such a simple little pattern. Love it. So I also, this is an adjustment. The pattern is for a slip stitch and gusset heel flap. I chose to try the Magic Heel Socks, which is a pattern by the Autumn Acorn. And you can see that it just puts some ribbing down here around the heel. And this is really great for like gift knitting, where you're not perfectly sure of the person's foot size. And if you want to give like plenty of wiggle room, or for children whose feet are growing. So I've been wanting to try that because I've seen it a few times. I know that Lisa of 72 Stitches has been putting them in her socks, and I've been watching that and thinking, oh, I really want to give this a try. So I thought I would try it for the sock, and it actually worked out very providentially because things got a little bit messy with this sock. So nothing to do with the yarn, nothing to do with the pattern. Both of those things are great. Both patterns, the seashells on the seashore pattern and the Magic Heel, everything was totally fine. No issue whatsoever. The issue that I ran into is that I tried a different set of needles that I've never used before. So my friend Danielle from Midwest Stitches, hi Danielle, she so generously sent me and my daughters a giant box of some fabric scraps that she has, and she also threw in a few extra goodies just for me. So one of the things that she sent me was this really nice double pointed needle set. And these are the square collage needles. And if you look, I'll just grab one here. You'll see that, let me see if I can get this to focus. There we go. You'll see that they are shaped, well, if you like slice them down the middle, they're square. Like obviously this isn't square. Is that? I'm panicking about making sure that I'm using math correctly. Professor Pearl's gonna hear me and be like, oh my goodness, she doesn't know her shapes. So it's like a, what do you call it? When it's not a cylinder. I can't think of it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, like enough. Okay, so they're square needles, okay? And these are supposed to be good for keeping your stitches even, and also to reduce hand strain. And I talked about this on the last podcast, that I did find that the stitches seemed like maybe they were a little bit more even, and maybe my hands felt a little less tired. I'm not too sure. I don't generally get too much hand strain. I do a lot of knitting, and I think I'm pretty I don't know, comfortable with knitting. So sometimes my hands get a little bit tired if I've done like a real marathon session of knitting, but it hasn't been too much of an issue for me. So anyway, I was just curious to try these because, hey, new tools, right? What I didn't do, and I should have possibly done, was take a look on the internet and see what other people had to say about these needles. Because if I had done that, I would have potentially come across this important bit of information. Also, this is another reason why you should do swatches. But I know you don't do swatches all the time, because I don't do swatches all the time. Let's be real, right? So I've like interrupted my sentence 3 times. Focus. Okay. If I had gone on the internet or done a swatch, I would have possibly found out that you really need to size up with the square collage needles, because they tend to make your gauge, they do affect the gauge, absolutely. Because I used size 1 needles, and ordinarily size 1 needles with like standard sock yarn like this is a 75-25 blend, the same stuff that I knit almost all the time. My gauge should be 8 stitches per inch, right on where it's supposed to be, right? Well, with the square collage needles, or the collage square needles, my gauge went down to, or up to 9.5 stitches per inch. So that made a huge difference. I knit the size small, intending to give this to my 12-year-old, and my gauge was so tight that these fit my 2-year-old. You would think that I would have noticed that, like, I mean, look at them. They look really small, right? Like here's that Saul Goodman sock, which was 60, and this is 56. And like, I mean, obviously sometimes it, you know, based on whatever your pattern is, your sock might look a little like tighter or looser or whatever. But I mean, this is like seriously different. Like, it is so snug on this sock blocker. Oh my goodness. So I didn't realize until I was a good bit done. I don't know. I just got into the groove of knitting and didn't notice. But yeah, so lucky for me that I have small feet in the house in order to be able to find someone that a sock is going to fit in. And lucky me that I did the magic heel sock, because otherwise I don't know what would have happened if I had done the heel flap and gusset. Like, would I have been able to like make this work? So right now on my 2-year-old, her heel is like right here, because like I really realized this. I want to say I was right at the end of the heel, I think, because then I tried it on because I wanted to see like how does this fit with this new magic heel, and I realized I couldn't even get it on my foot. And I mean, this is a size small, but I mean, ordinarily I can get a size small on my foot even though it's a little bit tight. This wasn't even going on my foot. So I decided, all right, I'm just going to do a really quick foot. And then I also, I did adjust the toe here and just did a rapid decrease for the toe. I think I did, I did a decreased row every row before I got to, I don't remember if I did 6 or 8 stitches up, or well, 12 or 16 stitches up here before I kitchenered it. So there was definitely a little bit of adjusting that needed to go on, but they do fit her. Like I said, her heel fits right around here, so she really does have a lot more room. They're tight, but for her, sorry, there was a hair on there. They're tight socks, but they do fit her really well, and I think she will get a few years out of them. So it worked out really well that I had the magic heel on there, and that in the end I have a pair of socks that do fit somebody in the house. So she's already worn them a little bit, because I wanted to make sure that I could show them off on the podcast here without them looking like a 2-year-old had worn them, because my kids tend to like just go outside and not put shoes on, and that would have been very sad. So anyway, she's very excited about these socks, and she absolutely loves them. They go up to like her knees. If I remember, I will put a picture up here. I do have a picture of her wearing the socks, and they're like just ginormous on her. But it's really cute. I don't know. I actually kind of like it. I don't think I ordinarily would have knit knee socks because it just seems really long. But that's a lot of knitting when I can get like a little kid sock done really fast. But I really, really like the knee socks, and I kind of want to knit more little kid knee socks because she looks so cute in them. So you're just imagining her this fall, like in her little dress for church with her little seashells on the seashore socks. It's going to be so cute. So she'll be really happy to get those. So yeah, so be aware if you are going to get the collage square needles that you do need to size up. I haven't yet figured out what needle size I need to get the right gauge, but thankfully I have this whole kit here. So what a silly thing, but who would have known? I did do some math to try to figure out why it affects the gauge so much. And I'm not gonna like get into all of it here because I don't think that most people are really super nerdy and interested in it. But I did take some measurements, and I haven't done, this was like a couple of weeks ago, so I'm gonna forget, like I don't remember the actual numbers. But the circumference, so if you imagine a regular needle, it's a circle, right? And then these square needles are a square. When I measured everything out, the circumference of a size 1 round needle is a longer distance than the perimeter of the size 1 square needle. So I think that what's happening is that no, take it all back. The perimeter of the square is actually larger. That's it. It's larger than the the I just said it and I can't remember it now. I'll have to edit this part out. It's not the okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So the perimeter of the square is longer in distance than the circumference of the circle for a size 1 needle. And I think that they did that to try to compensate for the tightness of, or the effect on the gauge. Problem is, I don't think that it was enough of a compensation. So my guess is that because of the little like 90-degree corners on those on the square needles, that when you're holding the yarn, it's causing more friction maybe, and that's keeping it from loosening up as you knit it. That's my assumption for what is going on here. And like I said, I think that they tried to make them a little bit bigger for what you would think, right? You would think that it would need to be a little bit bigger. Anyway, so I think that that's what's going on with those needles. I think it's just there's an extra friction going on, and so you're able to tighten up a lot more than you would ordinarily. And I'm a really loose knitter, so, or I've tightened up a bit. So I shouldn't say I'm a really loose knitter. I'm a little bit of a loose knitter. So I think that maybe because of that extra drag or friction or something, it really affected my gauge to make it much tighter. So it's something to consider with those needles. I would, definitely think about getting a couple of different sizes just to see what the difference is for you if that's a needle that you are interested in. I did like knitting with them though. I did find them pretty nice. Like I did talk about this a little bit more in my last video, the differences between them. So I'm not going to get into that much more, but they were a fun experiment. Not my most favorite needles for sure, but it was fun to get to try something, do something a little bit different. All right, so I have one more finished object, and these look a lot like a finished object that I had before. This is my second pair from my Rose Apothecary remix yarn from Kirby Werby. This is that rainbow self-striping yarn, and it is gorgeous. I did another pair I gave to my oldest daughter, and I did that one a little bit different. That one I did a picot cuff, and I started it with this section of color and then moved down this way. So, but I did this is my own Galaxy yarn down here that I did for the heels and toes, which I did for both socks. But for this one, I did a knit to purl to cuff for, I believe I did 7 rows here. And then I did a cut in heel. So these came out really nice. I'm happy. They'll match my daughter's, but they look a little bit different. So I'll pop a picture over here so you can see the difference and how they kind of look similar, but they're a little bit unique. So that way we won't lose track of whose socks are who. So really loved these. These were a pair that I just cast on kind of on a whim. We went to Canopy Lake, which is our local theme park. We went there a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to have some socks that I could just knit and not have to worry about shaping or heels or anything. So I did the cuffs in the car on the way there, and then I had my 9-inch circulars and just knit a tube. So I think by the end of the day, I think I was somewhere in this region of color. So I had gotten quite a few stripes done, which was pretty good. So it was nice to bring some knitting. If you remember, longtime viewers, I believe I talked about this last year when we went to Canopy. And if I didn't, I'll tell you now. I had brought my socks with me, and I had my, regular 32-inch size 1 needles, circular needles for knitting magic loop. And when they go and check your bags, the security guard saw my needles in there, and he wouldn't let me in because he's like, oh no, those are dangerous, that's a weapon. And I'm like, it's just knitting needles. Look, I'm literally knitting a sock here, because I'm gonna argue with the security guard. And he's like, no, I can't let you in. I'm like, you can bring these on an airplane. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, this isn't a weapon. This is perfectly acceptable. He's like, oh no, you wouldn't be allowed to bring that on an airplane. Blah blah blah. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? It's not worth the arguing anymore. He's not going to change his mind. Stop arguing with the security guard before you get kicked out of the whole park, Lauren. So my husband very nicely brought my knitting back to the car so I could go into the park without my knitting. And I was just kind of like grouchy about it. I mean, not like where it ruined the day. We still had a good time. But it was just like, really? I can't bring my knitting in? Like, I've seen so many pictures on Instagram of people at like Disney World or Disneyland knitting their socks, and they're not gonna let me do this, like, blah, blah, blah. And I did look on the the TSA website, and it's very clearly written on there that you can bring knitting needles on an airplane. So, Mr. Security Guard, I was right with that. And I didn't see any rules at Canopy about not allowing knitting needles. So this year I decided to be a little bit of a stinker, and I was not going to let that first situation affect my chances at knitting this time. So I brought my knitting again, but this time I brought my 9-inch circulars because I figured, well, with those little teeny tiny tips and them being kind of like curled up in the sock, they're not even going to notice when we go through the security line, and I'll be fine. So that's what I did, and wouldn't you know, the security guard did not notice my knitting, so I was totally fine, and it was great. The only thing that was a little bit fun was one of my daughters was like, right after we got through the security line, which was also a lot more chill this year than it was last year. I think because they've maybe realized like people aren't bringing stuff into I mean, this is like a little theme park. This is not like, this isn't Disney. This is Canopy Lake if you live in New Hampshire or around here, Anyway, as soon as we got through the security line, my daughter's like, Mom, you got it in. It was great. Mom, you got it in. They didn't see it. I'm like, would you be quiet? They're going to think I'm bringing in some sort of like horrible contraband here, not knitting needles. Like, just shh, quiet. Anyway, so so that was my trip to Canopy. It worked out well. I was able to knit the whole time, and there were security guards walking by me, and nobody gave me any trouble about my dangerous knitting needles. So it was good. It made like the waiting around much, like, at least I had something to do because I had a baby sleeping in the stroller. I didn't go on any rides. There was one ride. What did I go on? It wasn't even a fun ride. I don't even remember what I went on. It was like barely a ride. Did I? Oh, that's what it was. I went on a carousel, and I don't actually like a merry-go-round kind of a thing. And I used to like them, but I don't like them anymore because I can't deal with spinning. So I do have a picture of myself with my daughter and my husband. I don't know if my husband's in the picture, but on the carousel. So I'll put that picture in here if I remember. But that was the one ride that I went on. And otherwise I was just kind of waiting around for kids and lines and things like that. and it was nice to have some knitting to pass the time. So yeah, that's why I had cast these on for that. And I believe, yeah, that is all of my finished objects. We're already at a half hour, so I should probably stop the blah blah blahing and kind of like get through this here. So I have a whole pile of works in progress here, so let me put this here. Oof. All right, I'm just gonna grab bags and we will chat. All right, this first project is in a bag by Stolen Minutes, and this is my Anchors summer shirt that I cast on probably a good month and a half, no, longer than that. I want to, maybe 2 months ago now. So my summer shirt is very quickly becoming a fall shirt, but I had a little bit of trouble with this. So I had originally done the extra large, and I'm not going to get into this too crazy because again, I talked about this last episode. But I had cast on the extra large size, and it turned out it was just coming out way too big. I got past splitting for the armholes, and it was too big. I was trying it on, and I'm like, this is too much. And I had been warned by the lady over at Smitten where I bought this. Dawn told me, like, you know, be careful. If you're a loose knitter, you might want to size down. And I didn't, and I probably should have. So anyway, I did size down, went to a size medium, and I also adjusted the ribbing. And I'm knitting through the back loop for all of the, well, it's like a knit one, purl one ribbing. So I'm knitting through the back loop, and that really like neatened up the ribbing here. So I have gotten beyond the sleeve, splitting for the sleeves again, and I have a few inches of the body done. And it's like a little crop shirt right now. So I still have a few more inches to go for sure. But now I'm just into the miles and miles and miles of stockinette, and it's going really well. I've tried it on, it fits perfect. This is, did I say it's a size medium? This yarn is the Sandness Garn line, and I don't have the actual colorway. I want to say it's like Cafe au lait maybe. The color, this is in like, I don't even know, the Norwegian Yarn Factory. So I believe this is called, yeah, this is color 3042. Like I said, I think it's Cafe au lait when I looked it up on Ravelry. But I love this. It is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen, and it's so soft. And like, it feels nice in the ball, but then when you knit it, it's somehow like, it's almost smooth. I don't know. It's beautiful. I say this every time I talk about this sweater. I'm really excited to wear it. I just need to get it done. I don't know. I think it's because I've already kind of knit it based on how much knitting I've done. And so it's just like, oh, because I basically had to redo it. And like all of this ribbing, it's easy, but it just takes forever. And then especially knitting through the back loop, like the twisted rib, I think that's what it's called. It just made it that much longer, so it just took forever to do. And so I'm just kind of like, nah. But we're getting somewhere. I also have, I should talk about these. Look at these little, what are they called? Here, let me get the thing so I don't, stitch stoppers. These were in my summer box. So if you ordered a mystery summer box from Granite State Yarns, you would have gotten a pair of these. So these are from Fox and Pine Stitches, and they work for US size 2 up to 13, and they're just these like little rubber stoppers that you put on your needles, and you can, this holes, it goes all the way through, so if you have like a circular needle or something, you can just stick them both on, you can impale your little sheep here. But look at how cute this guy is. Let me get it to, there he is. Look at how cute he is. So these are really nice. I am super excited about them. So obviously most of the time I'm knitting socks, so these don't fit on, these don't fit on regular sock needles, size 1 needles. They're just a teeny bit too small. but these fit great on these needles. I think these are size 5s? I don't remember. Anyway, they fit great, and they're super cute. And they do the job for sure, because I put this in my bag and I don't have to worry about my stitches coming off my needles. So this is getting really full, but I'm still making it work for right now. Okay. Next work in progress. This is, now I don't even know if these are the same bags that these projects were in the last time, because I tend to just kind of switch my bags around. Like sometimes I want to have a zipper bag or one with a little like arm loopy thing if I'm going to be walking with them. So I don't even know. For right now though, this sock is in this beautiful bag by MLD Threads. I've got a little pin. I got this for my birthday from Knit Picks, and then on this side I have a Crazy Sock Lady pin. And these are my robin socks that I've been working on forever. And look at, see, just like right here, my stitch is coming off my needle. I need to get some stitch stoppers that fit sock size needles. I wonder if Fox and Pine will be doing that, because they have like some things I think that maybe you can do to fit on sock size needles, but I kind of want like the really cute sheep or something, or one of the many other things that they have. They have all sorts of stuff like avocados and cats and Christmas trees, and you should take a look. I'll link down below. But anyway, I've talked about these socks. These are just like my, I don't know, one of the longest works in progress socks that I've had. I have gotten a few rows done. Look at, got this nice stitch marker from Midwest Stitches, and I should probably move this. Maybe I should just do that. I don't know, because then I'll know my progress for the last time. Anyway, I'm almost done this sock. Time to do the toe. This is Midwest, no, it is, I wrote it down because I always forget. West Yorkshire Spinners in their, I think it's 4-ply, the 4-ply fingering. It's the Robin colorway. I do love these socks. It just taken literally forever to get them done. I'm doing 9-inch circulars. These are Chow Goo. I know I'll get into my groove and then just get them done, but I think mainly because I've been using them for walking socks, and it's been so hot over here that I haven't done a ton of walking, so it's just kind of taking extra time to get it done, but I'll get it done. The weather's cooling down a little bit, so we're going for a few more walks. It's hard though, because we as a family tend to go for walks after dinner, and we tend to eat dinner a little bit late because my husband doesn't get back from work until usually 6:30 or 7, so that's about when we're eating dinner, and by the time we finish eating dinner it's already getting dark. So like there's like that sweet spot in say June where the weather's really nice and it's really light out until late, and then we go for walks after dinner, and that's why I was getting tons of work done on my walking socks. And then now, or then it gets like really hot and nobody wants to go for a walk when it's, 90 degrees outside. And now it's getting to be like nice temperature again, but it's getting darker earlier. So I haven't done as much family walks as I had been doing before, which is kind of sad. I really should take the kids out during the day, but then the baby takes a nap, and she's like such a long napper. She takes a nap after lunch, and then she usually doesn't wake up again until about dinner time. Like she's just, kid loves to nap. So when she's sleeping, I can't really go anywhere. So that would mean I could walk in the morning, but I'm not gonna walk in the morning. Anyway, okay. Focus on the knitting. Focus. Okay, so speaking of walking socks, I haven't gotten any more progress done on this other than finally picking out colors for the heels and toes. So this was my first walking sock that I did. This is just a long tube for this one. And I'm going to do an afterthought everything. So I'm going to cut these in half and then add the toes and then cut in heels. And so I picked out the yarn. It's like a mess. I picked out the yarn that I'm going to do for the heels and toes. This is, well, this first one. This is Knit Picks Felici in the Speed Racer colorway. And then this is Knit Picks Stroll Tonal in the Matcha colorway. And I bought this a few years ago. I had knit one sock with it and never did the second sock. This is like honestly, I think this is the one time I've had second sock syndrome. And I knit this, like I said, it was a couple of years ago. And so I believe I ended up frogging that sock. I loved the sock. I really did. It was just, it had been so long ago. I didn't remember what size needle I did. And I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to get the, my gauge just right, because my gauge has changed significantly. I probably knit these in size with a size 0 needle, and now I do a size 1, and it probably would have been okay, but it also may have been a little bit off. And then I was gonna have to like count the rows and everything, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I said, okay, forget it. So I mean, with all of the socks that I do, I'm impressed that this is the one time I had second sock syndrome and didn't get it finished. So that's okay. So I'll take this yarn, which is gorgeous, by the way. And matcha is like the perfect name for it, because it really does. It looks like matcha tea, which I love. And that's why I bought this color. So I think this will go really well together. So these socks are intended for my son. So I really got to get these done, because he's going to love them. He was really excited about them, and then he forgot about them because I kind of forgot about them. So anyway, I got this out and in a project bag with needles, so now I should get these finished. This is in my Summer Sock Camp 2021 bag from last year. I got this from Stolen Minutes, and these were a hot commodity last year. Isn't it sad that Summer Sock Camp is done? I'm sad. So I should talk about Summer Sock Camp. I finished my, oh, that reminds, I have another finished object that I forgot about. I'm gonna go get that. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So Summer Sock Camp. This is my 2021 bag, but we just finished Summer Sock Camp 2022. Hey, Philomena. What? So, I keep banging my knee into the table. So we just finished Summer Sock Camp 2022 a couple of weeks ago, and I did knit 8 pairs of socks for the whole summer. So that was really fun. I don't remember how many socks I knit last year, which is kind of sad. That would be a nice number to have. I'm just looking at I have a little end that's kind of sticking out. Anyway, so my last pair is this pair that I forgot to talk about for finished objects. This is my 8th pair for Summer Sock Camp. Thank you, Kay, by the way, for hosting that, because it's so much fun every summer to try to just knit all the socks. So I did finish these just in time for the end of Summer Sock Camp, so I can get 8 pairs done. This is the Journey sock by Margaret for Heidi and Lana. And I've already worn them, so they're like already a little bit kind of fuzzy because I wore these socks. So I am not so sure about this pattern. Everybody's been talking about the Journey socks. Everybody loves them, or at least I'm hearing lots and lots of glowing reviews. And so I'm like, I gotta try these. And I did. And I didn't like them. I'm gonna be honest. I was, first off, a little surprised that the pattern itself is $8, which is a lot of money for a sock pattern. I've definitely spent $5 for a sock pattern. My own sock patterns are $3, which I think, personally for me, I think $3 is pretty decent for a simple sock pattern. Like if you're doing something really, you know, interesting or new and different, you know, I can see doing $5, $8. I mean, whatever, $5 for a sock pattern, it's fine. I've designed sock patterns. It's a lot of work. It really is. But you expect at $5 you're going to get multiple sizes and you're going to get a decent stitch pattern, right? This is an $8 pattern, and you are learning something, because I haven't knit a no-show sock like this before. So that's definitely worth something. But it's only one size, and it's only written for double pointed needles. So that's a little bit frustrating. Yes, I do happen to wear an adult medium, so the size is not an issue for me, but still, one size. It doesn't make it easy to like adjust and say, okay, well, I would like to put a little more here, or I need a little more width here, or whatever, because it's only written for one size, so it's a little bit hard with all of the different things going on. It's also a little bit confusing for like picking up stitches. I know McKaylee from Breaking Yarn had a little bit of trouble with that, and so like I did it, but I don't really like how it looks. It's a little bit messy, and I don't know if I did something wrong or it's just the way that the pattern is. I think that the heel here needs to be a little bit higher for me. I have a really high instep, and these are all adjustments that I can certainly make. Oh, and then the other thing that irritated me about this pattern is that you have to cut the yarn. This is all one color. This is my own tropical sock set, or just it's the main color from my tropical sock set. But after you knit the heel, you have to cut the yarn and then reattach it, which just means like extra ends to weave in. Again, not a huge deal, but a little bit like irritating. So $8 for a one size pattern and in double pointed needles, which is relatively easy to change over to magic loop, which is what I did, but still. I will say, after all of this complaining though, that I did find that the socks fit me a lot better than I expected. Like I said, I did put these through quite a bit to determine how I was gonna how I liked the fit, and I wore them with sneakers, like little like tennis shoes, and went for a bike ride with them, and they stayed on my feet. They did not fall off my heel. They did not get stuck like in the shoe at all. They were great. And so I wore them again the next day with a different pair of shoes. These were like Mary Jane's sandal kind of things, but they're like really sporty ones. So like they're for, you know, I don't really know what you would call them, but they were Mary Jane's, and they had like a nice like beefy bottom. So that way, I can go for a bike ride. And again, they fit just fine. And at this point, I had already worn them once, so they had kind of like, you know how socks kind of like loosen up a little bit after you wear them. They still stayed on my feet. I didn't have any trouble at all. And I went for a big bike ride. I think it was like 15 miles. So I got quite a few miles on my bike with shoes on and had no problem with these socks. So even though I really didn't feel like they were gonna fit, they did end up fitting quite well. I would like to have a little bit more, Abby, just leave it because it's just squeaking. Just close the main door. I would just like to have a little bit more height here. Like, they definitely work as no-show socks because you can't see them, but they would just feel a little bit more comfortable if they were just a little bit longer here in the heel. So with that being said, that pattern did give me a pair of socks that are cute and that fit. I just was expecting a little bit more for $8. And probably I could have read the description better, and I'm sure it's on there that it's only for one size, and certainly there are a lot of comments on the Ravelry page about, it would be nice to see this in more than one size and that kind of thing. It is a really unique construction, and for that, like, again, I know that it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of experimenting, and I am sure that this pattern designer put a lot of work and thought into this sock, but I would like to see more sizes would be nice, and maybe some like options for adjusting things. That's all. That would be nice. But Journey socks, it's okay. So this has put me into a new thing now where I would like to kind of start exploring the whole no-show sock, skimmer sock kind of thing. And so I am working on a second no-show sock. This one, let me get it over here. This is I have it written down here. and I can't find it. There we go. Skimmer Socks Revisited by Sheila Toy Stromberg. And I've gotten this far. Whoa. Am I losing stitches? Yep. Again, I need some stitch stoppers for my sock yarn. There we go. So I've gotten this far. These are toe up. And you can see I've done the toe and like the front of the toe. Like the, you know, not the front of the toe, the very end of the foot. And then now I'm going to do the heel over here. I think it's a short row heel. And then you do the cuff. And I believe I'll be picking up stitches here on the sides. So, couple of things with this pattern. It's free. And it has, I think, 5 different sizes. I think it's extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. I think. So that was really nice. Free pattern, multiple different sizes. Yes, that's great. Now, it's toe up. I've only knit 1 pair of toe up socks before. And I did not like the whole toe up process. So this is definitely a little bit of something, but that's okay because I've got to learn, right? I had to do is it the Judy's Magic Cast On? And I used this book to help, oh, look, it matches. I used this book to help me with that. And if you need a book that has like all of the cast-ons and bind-offs that you could ever need, this book is fantastic. Cast On, Bind Off, 54 Step-by-Step Methods by Leslie Ann Bestor. Love this book. And it's really nice. It's got a, one of my kids ripped the page here, but it has it's spiral bound, so you can open it and it stays flat, which is very nice when you're trying to look at a book and follow the directions. So everything has written instructions as well as pictures and information and characteristics about like all of the different cast-ons and bind-offs. Why do I keep cast-ons, bind-offs? Yeah. So it's great. There's tons of them. And then there's a few, there's like a cheat sheet here for all of the different cast-ons on the front page. And then all the bind-offs in the back. So I highly recommend this book. This has been very helpful. It's gotten a lot of love, and yeah, even my toddlers have run around with it and ripped some pages here and there. But it's okay. It's okay. So there's that book. So that's where I got the instructions to do Judy's Magic Cast On, and it went very well. I have no problem with it, and really looks really nice. So I have to say, I do really like this toe. I think it looks really, really nice. So I also was having a little bit of trouble with getting these edges to match the slip stitches that you have to do on the right side and the wrong side. The slips that I was doing on the wrong side with the pearls were coming out really loose, and then the slips on the right side with the knits were coming out really tight. So I did talk on Instagram about that, and I did get some advice. So one of the pieces of advice was to slip the knits, on the right side, to slip those knits knitwise, or to slip the stitches knitwise. And so that seemed to help a little bit. And then on the purl side, to just really try to tighten up everything, because pearls are just naturally going to be looser. And so by really focusing on tightening the pearls and loosening the knits, I did get this at a much better place. It's still a little bit wonky, but it's much better than it had been. So just focus on that if you try to do this pattern. If you have problems with getting those to match up, those 2 tricks might help you. And if I get any more knowledge on that, because people have been messaging me with some little things here and there, then I will be sure to share that. And you could also check out my Instagram for any of that as well. So yeah, so these are in progress. I'm really curious to see how these fit compared to the Journey socks. So it's been kind of fun. I really like shorty socks. No-show socks I don't wear quite so much because I just have problems keeping them on my feet. I have it's like super high insteps, like where like flats that don't have like a Mary Jane strap along the top, they just come off my feet. It can to be very frustrating. So I think that that's also affecting my socks and whether or not they're fitting well. But I like knitting them. They're really fast and they're a really good way to like use up little bits of scrap sock yarn. So I would like to get a good pattern. So this one seems promising, especially because it's free. So if you haven't yet bought a no-show sock pattern, maybe try this free one first. I haven't finished it yet to know for sure, but it is free. So if you don't mind experimenting with your yarn and time, then this might be a good place to start. As opposed to just like jumping right into the $8 Journey sock. Have I mentioned that it's $8? $8 for one size. Okay, I think I've complained enough about that. That's really, I shouldn't complain so much. I know people work really hard, but at the same time, like, I work really hard and I want to spend my money correctly, and that's why I'm talking to all of you too, to make sure that you are able to get patterns that are enjoyable and fun. And I want to be honest, and if I say something's great and I love it and I don't really love it, then that's not being fair. So sometimes you just have to kind of be a little stinky and complain a little bit about a pattern. But you know, I know someone worked really hard to make that pattern and write it up, and I don't want to negate that. Some people certainly love the Journey sock pattern. I was reading through comments and I know there was at least one lady on there. Plenty of people love them, but I did see one lady that says this is the only sock pattern she ever knits. She's made like, you know, 100 of them or whatever. So it certainly could be like that just holy grail perfect sock pattern for you. So I'm not saying don't buy it. I'm just saying it might not work out for you. And so if you don't have a ton of money to spend on socks and yarn and patterns, that maybe try one of the free patterns first. That's all. Does that make sense? I think that's reasonable. I hope so anyway. Okay. Oh, I have one more work in progress. We'll go through this one quickly. This is in a bag by Midwest Stitches. I got this last year. I love this bag. I'm so excited for fall. So I have some fall yarn in here. This is my own Leaf Peepin' colorway, which I released last year, and I did it in DK weight yarn last year. So this year I have it in fingering weight. I might still dye some in DK. I don't have a ton of DK base right now, so if anybody really wants Leaf Peepin' in DK, you know, let me know. Message me here or on Instagram or send me an email and let me know that you want it in DK, and I'll be sure to get that done. But I did want to do it in fingering weight this year because I've been really enjoying fingering weight socks, and I wanted to see what this would how this would look fingering weight. So I did get one sock completely done. Oh, this yarn is not currently in my shop. I'm going to be doing a craft fair this weekend, and I don't want to add anything to my shop only to have to close it because I'm bringing all the inventory to the fair and then re-putting it on there. So I'm waiting. I will get the Leaf Peepin' colorway as well as a few other new colors up probably next week would be my guess. So I'll keep you posted. Again, follow me on Instagram if you want the latest on all of the shop updates. But this is my first sock and I love it. It came out so nice. It's a little wrinkly because it's been shoved in this bag for the last few days because I'm bringing this to the craft fair. I wanted to have a sample. This is my rail yard socks that I had released a couple months ago, and it's just a ribbed pattern. I've talked about this one before, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but it's a nice ribbed pattern that makes a very nice man sock. I also have included some information in my pattern for increasing the heel flap and widening the heel turn, which, I mean, I think those two things really make a difference for getting a sock to fit a man's foot really well. These are for my husband. They fit him lovely. He's very happy with it. He did try this on the other day. So I do an adult medium for him, and he has a size 8.5 foot. So I do I do 75 rows for the foot, and that fits him really well. And like I said, I did the wide heel turn and the longer heel flap, and it really makes a difference for him. So, yay! And I do have the second one started. This is the knitting that I'm planning on doing at the craft fair. So I wanted to at least get this going so that way I could just knit along at the fair, and that'll be fun. Oh, I should talk about my needles. I often have knit with ChowGoo needles. I have a ton of size 0 ChowGoo circulars, 32-inch circulars, because I've said a couple of times, my gauge was a lot looser before, but it's now tightened up, and I like size 1 needles for socks. Problem is, I can't find size 1 ChowGoo 32-inch circular needles anymore, and my guess is because of summer sock camp. I think we have so many new sock knitters, yay, that I think just size 1 needles are hard to find, because everybody loves the ChowGoo needles, and everybody wants to knit socks now because knitting socks is the best. So if there are some stores that I've been able to find them at, but I haven't purchased from them before, so I'm like, do I really want to go and put in all my new information and everything else? And so I'm like, this would be a great opportunity to try new needles. So I've been using the Hiya Sharp, or the Hiya Flyers, which are, I've got one right here, which are those like, kind of like, they're not DPNs, but they're not circulars. These guys. Woo. And I do like these. I have knit a few pairs of socks with these. But what I really love about these is the tips. They're like super sharp. Super duper, like poke a hole through your finger sharp. So I decided to try the Hiya Sharps in the 32-inch size 1 circulars that I've been looking for, because I was able to get those just on Amazon, no big deal. And I love them. Love them. I love them just as much as I do the ChowGoos, if not maybe a little bit more, to be honest with you. They're so sharp that they just make like knitting a breeze for me. Now I know some people don't really like super sharp needles, so if you don't like super sharp needles, that's probably not for you. If you're a tight knitter, if you are pushing your needle through, it could be actually painful. I've heard of people like actually puncturing a hole in their fingertip from that. Because I knit loose enough, my stitches are not like shoved on that needle so tightly that when I do push the needle to help get it through, it's just a little bit of a help. So it hasn't been causing me any trouble for my fingertip. I love these needles. They're slick. The join for the like the actual needle and the cord are like perfect. It's not hanging up at all. The cord itself has no memory. It's a little bit different. It's actually really similar to the I mean, they're blue. They look a lot like the Addy ones, but still less memory than the Addy needles, because I've used Addies before and liked them, but I do find that the cord can get a little too kind of memory sort of, you know how they get like really loopy. These aren't nearly as bad. They remind me a lot of the ChowGoo needles, even though they're different, because like the ChowGoo needles I think have like a metal spiral in them, and these are just plastic. But love these needles. So Hiya Sharps circulars, if you're looking for size 1 needles and you can't find them anywhere, they might be a reasonable option. I do like them. So all right, I think I've talked about all of my works in progress now. Yes, I did. Okay, so now I just have a little bit of stash enhancement, because this is, I think we're coming up onto almost an hour here. So I'll talk about some gifts that I got first. First is this beautiful bag that my friend, I'll call her Jay, she has been a customer of mine since I think the very beginning. And I can always count on her to shop my updates, so thank you. And she had started to make these little bags for herself. And when she saw one of my latest updates with my Galaxy yarn, she thought that I would love this bag because it's space themed, right? And it's not showing up too well on the camera, but it does sparkle. Like all of these dots here are all silver sparkles. And I figured I'd bring my galaxy yarn with. So it was so nice. She had bought this yarn too, and then asked me if I wouldn't mind giving her my address so she could send me some happy mail, and it was so sweet. Look at this bag. So I need to get some project in here, but I wanted to talk about it, so I haven't yet put a project in here. But I have all of these works in progress, and come on, you know that I'm gonna have another pair of socks before we know it, so they're gonna go in here. This is gonna be nice. This would also be nice for like putting, like, I don't know, just all the little doodads that I have with me all the time. But thank you so much. Really, what a gift to have someone make something for you, you know, and then send it over. I love it. And it's really cool, space themed. I love it. Thank you. And then I got another bag as a gift. This one is from Danielle from Midwest Stitches, and she sent me, are you ready for this? Make sure that I have the letter. Here we go. Do you see this bag? Look at this bag. It is so cool. So this is a, what did she call it? Like a sweater or blanket size? Yeah, a sweater blanket bag. This thing is enormous. I could fit a child in here. This is great. And look at, it's got like all of the crafty things on it. There's like sewing, and there's weaving, and there's embroidery. Oh, it's cute. It's really, really cute. So, yeah, I have just the sweater project that's going in here. I haven't started that one yet, but once I'm done my Anchor summer shirt, I have another sweater project, and it's absolutely going in here. How cool is this bag? See, the inside too has got like safety pins, not safety pins, like straight pins. Is that what they're called? I don't even know. I sew, but like, I'm not a really good sewer. They're pins. There's pins in there. Look at them. Aren't they neat? And the little handle here too has that. So thank you so much, Danielle. I will tell you, I screamed when this came into the mail because I didn't know that this was coming. This was an absolute surprise. The kids brought the mail in, and they're like, there's a package here for you from Midwest Stitches. And I'm like, Midwest Stitches? I haven't ordered anything from her. What a surprise. Really. I literally screamed. I'm like, ah! Everyone gather around. Come look and see what Danielle sent. So really, Danielle, thank you so much. I did buy some yarn. My friend Anna from Zebra Yarns had a shop update, and I had to get some yarn. So this is her hot pink zebra sock set. I'm like, I need to get just like the classic Zebra Yarns zebra yarn, right? Black and white stripes. And then this one, I think that maybe her original was like red. This one's comes with this beautiful hot pink. And I love me some hot pink. So yeah, isn't this cute? I love Anna's yarn. I've knit a couple of pairs of socks with her yarn, and I'm very excited to try this one out. So thank you, Anna. She also sent me a bonus mini, and it's this really pretty speckle yarn. Oh, I love this. I think this is the mini that goes with her, let's see, I wrote it down. The Over the Hill Confetti Cheerleader colorway sock set. Over the Hill Confetti Cheerleader. I think that that's the greatest colorway name ever. It's hilarious. So I was like, I almost bought that one. She also has, I think it's Hydrangea, that colorway. I was also looking at that one. Very pretty. So anyway, you've got to go take a look. She's got like some Halloween colors, and there's like a newspaper print one that looked really good too. It had like black and like a speckly gray stripe. That one looked really nice too. I almost got that one. So I had to stop myself though. Like, it's really hard to resist. Like, I don't really need any more yarn. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy one sock set, just one. And this is the one I picked. So, but there's so many there. So I'll link her shop down below. Definitely take a look. Oh, and Danielle too, from Midwest Stitches. She's having a shop update All right, it's Thursday. Hopefully I'll get this up, but I know if you have, if you're subscribed to her newsletter, then you can get early access to her shop update on Friday. So probably by the time this is uploaded, that will have come and gone. I don't know. It depends on how long, when I get this up and when you're watching this too. But if not, if you're not on her newsletter, which you should be on her newsletter, but if you're not, I know that the shop update for the general public is on Saturday. So definitely take a look over there. She's got like unbelievably cute fall bags. There's this print is not part of that update, but she does have a bunch of other ones, and there's definitely a couple that I have my eye on. So I think I might be shopping that update too. So, but I am a newsletter subscriber, so I'm gonna get early access. So just so you know, there might be some bags missing if you're not on the newsletter. So definitely subscribe to the newsletter. So, okay, I think I have talked about all of this stuff. I think we are all up to date. I think we have talked a lot, so I'm not going to really get into anything else. I'll probably post some pictures here of some of the things that we've done over the last couple weeks. We did go to, like I said, we went to Canopy Lake, and we also went to Clark's Trading Post. I knit at both of those places, and we had a great time. So it's been really hot here. It's finally starting to cool down. You can see over here the leaves are starting to change a little bit. Fall is definitely coming, but the weather is gorgeous, and we're just kind of soaking up this really, like, this is the ultimate weather in September in New Hampshire. This is my favorite time of the year. So we're doing a whole lot of stuff this month. I've got a craft show coming up, and I have a big wholesale order that I'm finishing up. What else? Oh, my fall boxes are getting shipped out. So I'll be opening up slots for the winter boxes soon. I did decide I'm going to do winter boxes this year. And then what else is going on? Oh, I've got my Advents. So if you're looking for a Advent mini, like a mystery mini, open up a mini skein once a day in the month of December. I have those open. Those are only going to stay open for probably another couple weeks. So if you're looking for a yarn Advent, definitely take a look at this one. It's Gloria and it's Chelsea Steo, and it's going to be like jewel tones. Think stained glass windows in churches. It's going to be really pretty. I have got so many ideas for it. It's like I cannot wait to get dyeing on that. So that's why I'm going to get those slots closed in the next couple of weeks, so I can get dyeing on that. So that's going to be so fun. This is my first ever Advent. I haven't even bought one myself, like to have a real actual Advent. I've done like swaps, but not the real thing. So I'm going to be keeping one for myself too. So I'm really super, super excited about those. All that information is down below. And then for us, for this rest of this month, I have some kid birthdays coming up. My husband and I are going to be celebrating our 15th wedding anniversary, so I'm super excited about that. Like, I love celebrating an anniversary anyway, but 15 years that's really exciting. So that's coming up later this month, and then we also have a few more like trips, well, like, day trip kind of things for the family later on this month as well, because like I said, the weather's perfect. Most kids are back to school. We've been doing homeschooling for over a month now, so now we get to kind of like, we take it easy in September, so we can just enjoy all of the goodness that New Hampshire has to offer for us right now. So yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, comments, anything about all of this stuff, oh my goodness, all of the stuff that I talked about today, please comment down below. I love reading those, and I love chatting with people. You all have like just the nicest things to say, and I've gotten great advice from you all. So thank you. Please comment down below. It's a lot of fun for me to interact with all of you. And like and subscribe if you're into that. And yeah, I think that is finally it. So thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me talk as my brain just poop, 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 poop. So wonderful. Thank you all. I hope you have a great another few weeks. Enjoy September. Before you know it, winter will be here if you're in the northern hemisphere. If you're down south, which I don't know, do I have any viewers in the southern hemisphere? Because summer is coming up for you guys, right? All right, so bye-bye. Thank you so much. See you later.